And Big Bucks and Ruby Walsh are now getting on top from Punches Downs and racing up towards the line. It's Big Bucks who's going to win it. Big Bucks wins from Punches Downs and racing up towards the line. Imperial Commander is going to see off Voipur Estates. Imperial Commander wins the Ryanair.
The Paddy Power for Ireland and Eddie O'Grady, their first win for 29 years.
Over hurdles and fences, and now a Grade 1 winner on his UK debut.
History being made at Cheltenham, the first horse to regain the Gold Cup. Quarto Star canters home from in second place. Denman a great.
We're going to move on now to Thursday, which of course has the two feature races we'll move on to. But before we do that, I just want to talk briefly about the Jewson Novices Handicap Chase. There's a couple of horses here I just want to throw at the panel. Riva Least, who is the latest to be owned by Jim Lewis and trained by Paul Nicholls, and the Hollingwell, who is a horse that Ferdy Murphy has always thought the world of. Lee, what do you make of this race?
I think they're two fascinating horses. I would side with the Hollingwell. Again, you're totally right when you say Ferdy's always thought the world of this horse. Before it even ran, I was doing a stable tour interview with Ferdy for the Post, and he made the point then that this horse one day will be a seriously smart horse, and he's starting to show that now. Very impressive at Warwick last time, clearly been laid out for the race.
Tom, what do you make of these?
Yeah, it's again, it looks a wide open handicap. I rode Hey Big Spender earlier on in the season around Newbury. He felt like a great big baby that day, and he beat Fistral Beach. He's improved again since then. He's got course form. I think he's got plenty of weight, but he probably deserves to carry that weight as what he's shown so far. But I'd just be concerned there might be one or two slightly better handicaps. On the plus side, he obviously does handle the track, and he's had plenty of experience, which is a massive plus. But I just think there might be one or two in there that would be better handicapped.
Mick, the Pertemps, one of those races at the festival, it's a huge puzzle for punters. What's your view?
I think it's a race. Alfie Sheeran has been one of the best backed horses of the meeting in this race with Sportingbet. But Nicky Henderson's got a horse in here, a Nama. A little bit of a doubt about trip for this fella, but I think if this horse gets the trip, it's got to be a major player. Another horse I think at a big price is a horse called Silk Affair, who's a winner at the festival last year when it won the Fred Winter. This one I think has been ticking along quite nicely in some of its races. It's trained by a very good firm in the Quinlan's in Newmarket, and I think Silk Affair, you could do a lot worse than to have a pound each way on this one.
You got a ride in the Pertemps, Tom?
I'm riding the top weight, Mr. Thriller. I think Dave's going to run two, Mr. Thriller and Buena Vista. Buena Vista was second this last year off the same mark. He's also in the boys' race as well. But Mr. Thriller beat Alfie Sheeran very impressively earlier on in the season at Chepstow. He then beat Starluck at Haydock off levels, and then was disappointing the last twice, both times at Cheltenham.
Any reason for that?
No, he was.
I mean, people are saying it's because he doesn't like Cheltenham. Would you?
I disagree with that, because he was sixth in the Fred Winter top weight last year and wasn't beaten all that far. Didn't get it. We got in a bit of trouble at the second last, and it probably cost us fourth. So I wouldn't blame the track. It just, he was beaten before. The trip was an issue both times, the last twice. If we can get him back to the same sort of form he was in at Chepstow, he would have a great chance, but he's got to come back to that. I also won on Fredo last time. He's 14-1. He's gone up a lot in the handicap. I don't think it was a great race that he won, but he'd probably have an each-way chance. But I'd agree with Fitzy. I think Silk Affair has obviously got the track form, and has been running nicely this season without setting the world alight.
So there we are, two good outsiders there, Silk Affair and south of the border for the Pertemps to have a look at. Let's now move on to the two big races on day 3 of the festival, starting, I think, with the Ryanair Chase, in which, again, no standout favourite here. We've got odds-on favourites in the Gold Cup, the Champion Chase, and coming up in the World Hurdle, but no standout favourite in the Ryanair at the moment. I've always been a huge fan of Barbershop. I've always thought that this is his ideal trip. Can you see any good reason for him not being favourite? Because I can't.
No, I think he's got a real major chance. I'd agree entirely with you, Alan. If you look at the way he runs his races, particularly the King George, there was a lot of talk after King George that Nakara was the second best horse in the race. You could almost put the same argument in about Barbershop. He travelled so well. you look at him from the second last fence to the final fence, how tired he got. He runs just like a horse that we made for the Ryanair. Seriously talented. I think it's a winnable race as well.
Mick, I'm sure you will tell us that Nicky also runs Petit Robin, who is more highly rated.
Yeah, Petit Robin he's rated 165 to Barbershop's 156. One's 14 to 1, the other one is 5 to 1. He's a very decent horse, Petit Robin. He's been trying to mix it with the best of them over 2 miles. I won a novice hurdle on this fellow over 2.5 at Newbury, which is quite a stiff track. I think the trip is what this horse has been crying out for. Another one that I think is very interesting in this race, because I think he has been confirmed for it, is Alberta's Run. A horse who's a winner. He's a winner at the Cheltenham Festival.
And he should have his ground too.
He should have his ground. He wants decent ground. He was a very good winner of a Grade 1 earlier on this season at Ascot over 2.5 in a very good field and a competitive field. I think he's 16, 20 to 1. I think that's an insult.
Can you see below the top 3 in the market?
I can't actually see below Poquelin. I think he's one of my best bets of the festival. Not that I bet, but he's very well fancied in the Nicholas
You're allowed
camp.
to bet now, you know.
Yeah, but
you've handed in your license at last.
I mean, Fitzy mentioned Alberta's Run, who I agree with. I think that he could be a little bit of forgotten horse. I think he's good value. But Poquelin, for me, I think he's... Well, I know he's very, very well fancied by the Nicholas camp. Barbershop, I'm not a great fan of. Planet of Sound's got obviously that to overcome from last time. Quite a few ifs and buts about a lot of these, but for me, the favourite, I'd be on this occasion happy to go with the favourite.
Tom, how do you weigh it up?
Again, there's nothing really to add to what the boys have said. It looks a wide open race. I'd be a big Barbershop fan, and again at a bigger price, Alberta's Run what he's achieved. But I think Barbershop would be the one for me. Barbershop
for you, Mick. In a word.
Alberta's Run at the prices.
Alberta's Run. Lee, you with Barbershop?
I'm indeed. Yep.
Yeah. Paul.
I am. Tranquil Sea and Scots Irish each way, but Poquelin be hard to beat, but I just have to go against. I just have to do something different.
Now on to the World Hurdle. We have a 4 to 7 favourite in Big Bucks, who arrived at this race last year, you could say by accident, having fallen in the Hennessy when he looked like winning the Hennessy, was then diverted back to hurdles because of course Paul Nicholls has such a hand of staying chasers, and he turned out perhaps to be a little better over hurdles than anybody thought he could be. Carl, can anything beat this fellow this year?
Well, he's no value at that price. For me, the two that I stand out is Tidal Bay and Sentry Duty. I think Tidal Bay was very impressive here the other day. The others, for me, more of attrition, things like that. You can't believe they're going to come back and win this sort of race. Time for Rupert's a handicapper. Sentry Duty got a lot of class. I mean, he will be going around in second gear in this race for much of it, and he could give big Bucks a lot to do. And you know, he's valued at 12 to 1. I think that's a working man's price. Tidal Bay, if Dennis O'Regan has got the balls, and I think he probably has, to follow Ruby round on big Bucks and wait. Ruby will come pretty late, but when Ruby commits, if he sits behind him and waits even longer and is last to challenge, I think the Tidal Bay could beat him.
I know Alan King has been raving this week about the work Catchett's done. He thinks he's got him better than any time in the last 2 years. Lee, can we give that one at a big price? Any sort of chance?
Well, but for what Alan King has been saying, I'd say realistically no. Although Alan does seem incredibly bullish about Catchett, which is in a way surprising, because you look at the Cleve hurdle over the World Hurdle course and distance, I can't see any reason why Catchett should reverse the form with Tidal Bay, who was going away from him.
Tom, I have a mental picture of you riding Loch Derg against Big Bucks and rousting him along with Big Bucks absolutely cantering alongside you. He is some machine when he puts it together like that, isn't he?
Yeah, I'd forgotten about it till you mentioned it. Yeah, Big Bucks is a fantastic racehorse, and again, I think they're all going to have to go some to beat him. I'd respect Tidal Bay. Sentry Duty was mightily impressive when he won round here on New Year's Day, but I'm a massive Big Bucks fan. He's had a decent break since the long walk as well, and yeah, I think that everybody else is playing for second place.